I'm going to stay with you before I go to Daniel here because one of the things that you said surprised me, and you said that you think Trump is going to win in a landslide, and I said I don't think so because of the amount of money that is behind Biden. I mean, it's incredible. Where it used to be that they hated Wall Street, the Democrats. Now they love Wall Street to death because they're getting billions of dollars from it. So that it's like if you're a Democrat. Uh, you're looking at more and more and more billionaires supporting them, which is kind of weird, right? It's usually the other way. Like they used to say, "Don't go to billionaires." And you even look at early on with the early debates, Democratic debates, how they were just ripping apart billionaires like crazy at
Yeah,
raising money.
well,
Now it's they're all on their side. A lot of them
yeah.
are.
I mean, well, fortunately, unfortunately, I guess it depends on your perspective. There really is no right and left anymore. Not in the traditional sense. The Democrats are not the party of the left. At least the candidates we have now, the candidates that they put forward, which is very frustrating to me because not because you know, I don't want to get I don't too far down the political rabbit hole, but this kind of speaks to why I think Trump is going to win. I think Biden has no chance in hell of winning.
Mm.
There's no chance in hell of that he's going to win. And I thought that he had a very tough road to begin with, just by the fact that he was the Democratic nominee. Um, I really think that the Democrats they fucked it up 2 cycles in a row. I mean, they put forward a candidate in Hillary Clinton that was everyone was convinced that she was going to win. And to be honest, I thought she was going to win too. There were so many things that Trump said and did in the course of his running for president that, in my mind, should have disqualified him. And in maybe any other year, at any other time and place in history, would have disqualified him, but they didn't. And what did the Democrats learn from that fiasco? Absolutely nothing. They decided to put forward a candidate that is another Hillary Clinton. Um, the thought process being so antiquated that it's ridiculous. They decide that what center really I don't even want to call him center left. I mean he's center. A center Democrat would have a better chance at running against. This is going to sound crazy to call him extreme. I think he is extreme, but he's not extreme like an extremist. But he has an extreme point of view. Biden does not have any extreme points of view. Like I don't even know what Biden is. Like he's like I call him warm milk. He's like that. He's if any of you saw Gangs in New York, Daniel Day-Lewis's character, he's taught, and this is it's actually very fitting because he's actually talking to Tammany in the movie.
Mhm.
The guy who plays Tammany, he's talking to that character, and he says he's all pissed off about something, and he's like, searing his meat, barely enough so that it's like, edible. And as he's like chomping into his steak, he's talking to Tammany. He's like, "You are neither hot nor cold, and because you are lukewarm, I spew you out of my mouth." And that is exactly what Biden is. He's neither hot nor cold. He does not have an opinion of any that his running platform. The only thing of any strength that he has that he's running on is I'm not Trump. That's what he's running on, and that's what he's hoping will carry him through the election. Because if you look at any other issue of any sort of substance, he does not have a strong opinion. You talk about fracking, like you wouldn't want to own fracking companies if Biden were elected.
I mean, he's kind of going
he's going back and
just on
forth on that.
federal land and this and
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
But if I'm a fracking company, I would be worried. I mean, I would be.
So during the primaries, he was all on the side, like no more fracking, no new
Mhm.
fracking. I'm with Bernie, whatever, because that was when Bernie was pretty powerful, and I still to this day. Well, we can maybe talk about that a little bit
Well,
too.
you
But
think Bernie would
Bernie would have had a much better chance of beating Trump. He actually might have
see?
beaten Trump.
I don't think so. I think it's just too. And I respect him, and this is what we're going to bring Daniel in here. But I respect him because he truly believes, and I even believe that about Obama, where I think Obama always had a love for this country. I was never nervous about anything, in terms of safety or political policy. Uh, I disagree with some of the policies. When I look at Bernie, I disagree with a lot of the policies, but I see it like he's passionate about it to the point where he really believes like that system would work, and I kind of respect that. Like that's how I
Yes,
felt.
absolutely.
Let me bring in Daniel really quick.
Good.
because this is where Daniel and I disagree. And again, this is what we're doing here. This isn't, everyone agreeing. We're kind of like this, just having a conversation about it. And that's why I wanted to tape this thing. But you don't think that Bernie is genuine, right?
No. Next question. No. That was easy. No, the other night when we were talking, when you introduced Greg, he said something that really stood out to me, and it made me really think about it. And I respect his case on this sense that I don't want to put words in your mouth, Greg. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically politics have changed, and he believed that Bernie could win because he was real authentic, a lot of authenticity with the perceived voter, and he connected really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I really stopped and thought about that, and he did, because the amount of excitement he got in younger voters, generations, millennials. I'm 34, so depending on where you draw that line, I could either be in that group or out of that group. But a lot of people my age were huge Bernie fans, and that's something that I couldn't wrap my head around because I don't. I have a problem.
How would you not be a Bernie fan if you are a student and he's going to remove? Oh, you don't have to pay your debt anymore. Free healthcare for everyone. I mean, that appeals to a lot. People are obviously going to say, "I want that."
Absolutely.
If I don't have a job, if I didn't have a job, and I'd be voting for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I mean, that's definitely what he's going after. I mean, you can buy votes several different ways. You can literally pay for them, or like Bloomberg is doing in our own state.
100 million he's putting
up. My goodness, that's funny. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm talking about paying off the felons' fines and all that so they can vote. That's lately. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole either. But yeah, I mean, you can give free stuff away. I just listen. If you're at the top, I'm all for a dictatorship as long as I'm in the inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
Socialism's wonderful as long as you're at the top. You're a Bernie Sanders socialist. You're a multimillionaire, multiple houses. Hell, what's not to love about that?
Yeah.
But again, that's only for a select few. So that's what scares me. And no, I can't buy him as authentic at all. But that's me. But I do like how Greg made a great point the other night about how he engages people. I don't know if they would turn out to vote because millennials are lazy on
voting.
Definitely
a much more excitement there compared to Biden. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a carryover from 2016. He did a lot of good in 2016, generating emotions and getting people to go for him.
Now, Greg, before we go any further, since you had strong opinions in terms of what'd you call them? Warm milk.
Warm milk.
Yeah. What's your email in case anyone wants to email you?
Greg. No, I'm happy to. I would love to have these. I love these discussions. These are my favorite kinds of discussions.
So with Bernie Sanders, Trump's going to win a landslide. You really think Bernie Sanders would have got more? I mean, maybe he gets more votes. I just think there was no shot of him winning because he would have had that. For this election, it's coming down to that middle section, right? I mean, the left and the right are going to vote the way they want to vote, no matter what you do, present any facts. They're never going to change. But that middle part is what they're fighting for. And they're going to extremes, both parties, to get that. And I don't know if Bernie appeals to that middle part where they'll, I don't know.
I'm not so sure about that. I think that Trump appeals to extremes and Bernie appeals to extremes. And I think the middles are the ones that they're not really. So let me back up a little bit. The reason why I just said that I don't think Biden has a chance in hell of winning anymore is exactly because Ginsburg died. I think he would have had a tough time of it anyway. I think what's going to happen now is everyone's going to galvanize around Trump. Even the people that wouldn't have voted for him before are going to vote for him. And I know people that voted for Trump that said, I made a mistake. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to vote for this guy again.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to vote for him now precisely because of this issue. They're going to galvanize around him because the bigger picture is they want someone on the Supreme Court that thinks like they do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the 6-3 court, which is what it's going to be, Obamacare goes away. And there's nothing to replace that yet, right? So now you have this big hole. And we talk about, Bernie having these kind of like these fringe ideas. Universal healthcare is not a fringe idea. 66% of people would approve of universal healthcare. That's 2 and 3. That's not a majority. That's a super majority. And that's not Democrats. That's all voters. 66% of people want that. They want it. That is what the people want. So this is not like a far left fringe idea. This is not one of his ideas necessarily, but universal basic income was something that was discussed a lot during the primaries. Andrew Yang That's not a fringe idea either. It's pretty much split. 40% want it, 40% don't, and 20% aren't really sure what the fuck it means. These are not fringe ideas. So we talk about, we talk about Bernie as if he's way off on some island somewhere, and like that, no one's ever gonna go meet him there. That's not really true. And what I think it comes down to, when it comes to especially a presidential election, it's not so much important with Congress, I don't think, although it should be. But with the presidential election, it really comes down to it's a little bit of policy, but it's a lot of character. It's a lot of how relatable you are.
Mitt Romney was terrible in that department.
Yes.
And
exactly.
It killed him. And you know what? When you see him, when he's not on a mic, or people that talk to him, and you see him in different circles or whatever, he's cool. When he was on a mic, he was dry. It was, and listen to Obama's one of the greatest public speakers I've ever seen. I mean, even you just, when he speaks, like the crowd just, it motivates them. It's almost, you see similar with Trump, but that's one thing. Yeah. You got to be charismatic. But I think that really, really, really hurt Romney.
Yes, I agree. And I think it's destroying Biden. It's destroying tell me one person that relates in any way to Kamala Harris. None. I can't think. I don't even I can't find a single thing about her that I find authentic or interesting at all.